Scott Narver. It's time for another Hitman rating system episode.
Jake Lloyd Bacon, I'm excited. I say we choose Royal Rumble winners.
Oh my God, this is a fantastic idea. Okay, I'm going to start with Santino Marella. I think when it comes to look, hey, he's up there.
Jake, Santino didn't win.
What are you talking about? Santino Marella won. Okay, I think in ring ability, 10. That dude was always underrated.
No, Jake, that year Alberto Del Rio won the Royal Rumble.
Oh, fuck, I forgot. Can we do Royal Rumble runner-ups instead?
The Hitman rating system, Royal Rumble winners today on Pro Wrestling Palskis.
Hey, Scott Narver.
Hey, Jake Lloyd Bacon.
You know what I love?
Oh, hot dogs.
I do. I fucking love a hot dog.
I know. Costco is willing to take that lost leader for a Jake Lloyd Bacon.
I haven't been eating pork or beef.
That's okay. That's not in hot dogs. Not the good ones.
Not that we know.
Yeah. You're good. You're good, buddy.
I haven't had a hot dog in a long fucking time. God, a really long time.
Should we get you a hot dog today?
I fucking love hot dog. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
It's not like it can do damage to you internally.
You're right.
We'll hot dogs are good for you. They grow on trees.
Where do we get? There is a Wiener Schnitzel not far from here.
Those aren't hot dogs.
No?
No.
Where else would you get a hot dog around here?
Costco.
That seems like an ordeal. That is an amazing hot dog, but it seems like a long way to go and quite an ordeal for that.
Why? How's it an ordeal?
It's far away.
You can order at the kiosk now, and then you just go pick it up.
Wow.
They don't deal.
The
at the window
has come to Costco.
They don't deal with the money anymore. They just deal with the food. That's it.
Oh, you know what?
They crack the code.
Well, you know who else cracked the code? Our current PWP champ, Alex Pierce. Thank you for being a friend. Did I do the whole thing where I said that we're live with the exclusive patrons? And if not, that's what's happening, everybody. If you want to join us for these episodes live as we record them, then head on over to patreon.com/PWPalskis.
Yeah. Simple, easy. Can be done by a child. Sign your child up. What's wrong with that? Nothing.
I don't think we click the button on YouTube that says this is made for children.
No?
Yeah. Otherwise, we would get taken down for saying bad words, I think.
What? Like what?
I actually...
like Ronda Rousey's baby name?
Wait, is there a problem that we curse so much on these live streams? I never thought about that. But it doesn't matter, right? You can curse on YouTube all you want as long as you're not making money on it.
Well, no. It is about if you're marketing it to children.
Okay.
And saying like, yeah, these are kid-friendly, appropriate videos.
So all of my F-bomb laden tirants are...
Your tyrants are fine.
My tyrants. What are we doing today?
What are you telling me for? You came up with this shit.
I wasn't telling you anything. I was asking you.
Yeah, I know. See, I got you. We're doing the Bret Hart rating system.
That's right. The Hitman rating system.
The Hitman, look him up, knock him down.
We started doing this.
The Are You Hot or Not Bret Hart system.
We started doing this last year after an interview surfaced that I watched online where they were asking Bret to like rate his peers, and Bret essentially said that he believes you can rate every wrestler on a score from 0 to 30.
Yeah.
With 3 separate, 0 to 10 categories.
Yes.
There's a 0 to 10 in look, a 0 to 10 in promo, and a 0 to 10 in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And combined, that is their overall rating.
Yeah.
I thought...
So he says, fuck you, 2K.
I love this.
You do it 100?
99?
That's a mess.
Because, what's the difference between somebody who's, rated 78 and someone who's rated 81? Nothing. They're the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
There's too many numbers.
Yeah. C+ and B-, really, but, you know.
All right, I picked two wrong numbers. I should have picked two numbers that were closer together and in the same letter grade system.
Yeah,
but I understand the point I'm trying to make, Scott.
Barely.
You don't need to undermine every little thing that I say.
That's what this episode was all about. It was all about undermining everyone.
I think this is going to be the first one of these that we legitimately come to, what do they call it in chess? Draw.
King me.
I don't think that we are going to be able to come to conclusions here.
You're very generous with these scores, by the by.
And I'm also generous with my ability to just be like, all right, that's what Scott wants to draw. I'll go with that. Like I'm good. I kind of let you,
because I'm confused a lot of time. Like, you're just handing out flowers. Like, well, they're alive, just give them a 19. Why not? Fucking in one score. Look.
I'm a nicer boy than you.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to channel my inner Bret Hart of like, no, 4 out of 10.
I think in the past though, we've come to numbers for everybody. We've never had anybody that's been like a question mark. I think today we're going to have some question marks because I think today, we are going to be doing some rating some people who are icons that I think we will be disagreeing on more so than the minutia of our small current, where we're like, oh, let's do current, mid-card champs. It's I think both of us are, despite being very opinionated, we're less passionate about our opinions of like, how good of a wrestler is Alba Fire, right? We're like, it's going to be easier for us to kind of like argue that back and forth and be like, all right, yeah, whatever. But when it comes to like,
because there's a lot of, well, they could get better, and so we'll add a 0.5. This is in large part the catalog is done.
Yeah, because today we are going to be Hitman rating Royal Rumble winners, because it's the Rumble season. When is Rumble? Is it happening?
It happened.
It happened already?
Or it happens tomorrow?
Today is the 28th. Today is...
Oh, it is? Oh, February 1st.
Great. So it's this upcoming weekend. See, we nailed this. We're very good at this. We're so good at this.
Because it'd be fun to do Rumble speculation, but we can't.
Yeah. Can't do that.
No.
It's too early and also too far in advance all at the same time. So, I mean, I have in front of me the Wikipedia page with all of the Rumble winners.
Oh, wow. So you can edit it right now. Ludwig Borga won every single one of them.
30.
Boom.
Score 30. Do you want to do this chronologically? We don't have to do every Rumble winner, but do you want to at least work through it chronologically?
We're going to make this series fucking last. We're not going to...
Oh, you want to do this more than once?
What, this...
The Hitman rating system, there's plenty of people for us to rate. Okay.
I don't know. But if you're going to do everybody, you're taking out so many of the greats.
I didn't say that. I said we were going to
chronologically
skip around, but still do it chronologically.
I don't follow.
Do you see how difficult my job is, everybody? Do you see how hard it is to work with this man? There's a reason. There's a reason we're not tag champs.
No.
Because one of us is constantly throwing matches. I'm also realizing now that we both have way too much headroom in our video. Like why are we both so low in our frame? I think because our postures. Oh no, he's gonna ruin everything.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But
right back to where it was.
No, there's less. It's less.
All right, Scotty Narv. There's the list here.
Oh.
I mean, should we start with at least the number one guy?
You choose.
Yeah, Jim Duggan.
Okay.
First ever Royal Rumble winner.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Jim Duggan. He won in Canada, January 24th, 1988. Came out number 13. Won the whole damn thing.
Yeah. And what do you get for it? Yeah, you won. There you go.
So they gave him a piece of wood. Come on.
Oh, I'll make something work with this.
All right. Duggan. Look.
It's not spectacular.
He's big.
It's the blue underpants.
Right.
I think typically blue boots as well. For the majority of his career, the long hair.
It's weird. I don't associate him with long hair, but I guess he did. Did he have kind of a skullet though? Was he balding?
No.
No,
he had the long hair.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah.
When he was when he turned Canadian, in WCW there for a little bit. They cut the hair.
Right. Because they don't like long hair.
But he's got the beard. He looks like a crazy lumberjack drunk, but fucking A, he's charming. He's got little kid-isms that he does all the time.
And I think,
and the tongue and all that, like,
and his brow, like he's goofy. He's a very goofy looking dude.
So when it comes to just like the presentational look of him, it's like, yeah, it's pretty basic, but he's got the bit of blonde and the brown hair. He's got some Kurt Russell in the Thing kind of look, you know?
Yeah, I actually think he is like fairly unique looking in a way that benefits a pro wrestler versus other guys who were just his size.
Because he didn't bleach blonde the hair, which immediately makes him different because it's just natural.
I think he did.
There's some frostiness there, but it's not the whole thing.
Right.
Like in that image that you're looking at there. But it's not the Bobby Eatons and fucking everybody.
It's not the platinum blonde and the solid,
Right. It's more of his natural look. It's probably getting sun or being in the ocean is what just fucking lightened his hair like that.
Right.
So I think it's good. I'd probably go 6.5. Because I can't really give the facial quirks and the body language and stuff as part of the look. It's just the look. So I go 6 or 6.5.
Yeah, I think I'll go 6.5 with you because I was leaning 7 because the uniqueness of the face, his ability to use his face, and then also like he was a massive dude. He had the spectacle nature to him, so I was going to go 7. So I think 6.5 is a nice compromise there. Promo. Can I tell you? I don't. Outside of him, yelling "ho" at people, I don't really recall a lot of his promos.
Tough guy.
Yeah, I don't really have a big recollection of his promos. I feel like I know his voice, but what I'm trying to get at is I don't remember things he said. I remember liking when he talked, but I don't.
Tough guy.
Yeah.
USA. Ho.
That's it. Now, were you just talking to me? Were you just saying I'm a tough guy, USA ho, or what was that?
Those are 3 staples of the man.
Right.
I think he's fucking great at it.
Yeah.
Because he's a 80s yelling wrestler amongst the yelling wrestlers.
Right.
But part of it is that guy's volume of talking. It's just kind of that.
He's got a big voice.
He's got a big voice and he commands a room.
Right.
And he's forever commanded a room. Conventions, another on your mark, sideism. But anytime that there was fans or interactions where he's doing something, and especially on camera, everyone stops and goes like, oh shit, Jim Duggan's over there.
Right.
Because he's going like, all right, everybody come in now. Here's what we're going to do on the count of 3.
Right.
We're going to do it for the good old US of A. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and everybody goes like, yeah.
And
it's not just nostalgia.
The voice, the excitement, his ability to command a crowd, and then also the fact that he's probably a 1.5 feet taller than everybody in the room. Like they're larger than life personality for sure.
It's booming. It's larger than life. It's solid. He doesn't fumble his words. He doesn't have incoherent promos. It's not stuff that you go like, what the fuck is he talking about?
He's not Ultimate Warrior, who's also from the same class of yelling.
Yeah. And it's not a Tamina school of like, when did you just garble and forget it? It's presentationally, he is awesome and he riles up a crowd and he's just I think he's an 8 when it comes to promo.
All right. I'm going to go along with you on this one.
Because it forever remained like the excitement, you forever remained connected to people. And there wasn't a time where people go, I don't know, I'm just kind of sick of you saying USA.
Right. That leaves us with wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't have enough recollection of like I was a kid, a proper little kid. So like I just like that he was just like
a school boy.
I was just
a sailor outfit. I was a proper school child.
I was just a young child.
I had a lolly.
One of those big ones.
Mm-hmm.
That was bigger than my head.
I worked,
I think, for like 3.5 fucking years. I was working on that.
I live in New York. I've never been to Old York.
Oh.
Someday I hope to go.
I've got lolly on my knickers.
Mumsy.
I think that like my recollection of him as a wrestler was that he's fun for kids, but if I were to be I assumed if we were to watch one of his matches now, I would be like, yeah, just basic paint by numbers wrestling of the era, kind of boring, nothing exceptional.
Nothing flashy,
Lots of
nothing
clubs. That would be my
really
guess.
great. A football player turned wrestler. And
Oh, right. He used to do the 3-point stance.
That was a good finish.
Right.
And it was
it, what did he do? Was it a spear or a shoulder tackle?
a clothesline.
Oh, it was a clothesline from that position. Got it.
So I think he's a 5.
Okay.
Like there's not.
I was going to go less, so now you're being generous. So yeah. Okay.
There's not great Jim Duggan matches that you go like, oh man, you got to see that one.
Right.
But there wasn't ever, to my recollection, there wasn't. Oh God, one of the worst matches I've ever seen is Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus.
Right.
They would just be kind of bland and boring.
Right.
At times,
they were unexceptional.
Yes.
Right.
That's why I go middle ground with a 5 because he wasn't fucking up. He wasn't doing anything out of the realm that he shouldn't do.
He got the job done.
It was always believable.
Right. Yeah.
And but it wasn't something you go like, oh fuck, we gotta watch these
nothing
matches.
Innovative. No. And yeah.
And yeah, it's all fine.
Right.
It's all middle of the road is what I'd say.
I'm not going to be able to contribute a lot to our next winner here, Big John Studd. Do you have strong thoughts on Big John Studd?
I got thoughts on Big John Studd.
Yeah, enough to give him a proper rating.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Bring him up.
Big John Studd. Because
you gotta look at the man. You know what he looks like?
Yeah, of course I know what he looks like. I've seen him in wrestling.
The boots and tights are signature and key to Big John Studd. Yeah. That has to be in the images that we see here at some point.
The white and red, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't recall anyone else ever rocking that look.
Yeah.
It's signature to him. He would, when I was getting introduced to wrestling, like those were the thumb wrestlers that we had.
Right.
We had Sheik, Big John Studd, and Hogan. And he's got that, he does have that platinum blonde hair, but then the brown beard. And he's just a big fucking dude.
Yeah, he also has like that like country strong build where he's got a big old belly, but you know it's rock solid.
Right.
like if you punch him in the stomach,
fat.
It would hurt your hand, not his belly.
Yeah, there's potatoes in there.
I mean, I think his look is exceptional. Like he has got
and the height.
Yeah.
The height is also what's key about it because
there's him and Andre.
So he probably clocks in at like 6'10", would be my guess, is his height. So he's intimidating. And the simplicity of the boots and the tights and all that, like it all works.
He's built it. He
comes in with 6'10". The entrance rope too.
Yeah.
So it's a really good look. I'm thinking a 7, maybe 7.5.
How much better looking is he than Duggan to you?
It's more recognizable.
Yeah.
If I saw a bunch of wrestlers in one night, I'd walk away sooner going like, who's that other guy? The taller guy.
I think 7.5.
Okay.
I think 7.5 is fair. What about his promo? I don't really recall much of him talking.
I don't really recall a bunch of Big John Studd promos either. From all recollection, I mean, hey, we can do this too. You can pull up a Big John Studd promo.
Yeah, that's gonna throw a monkey wrench in our podcast recording for audio's sake.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't plan I have to plan ahead for those.
I was gonna say, couldn't you just play it and it just plays through the computer speaker and we just kind of hear what we hear?
I mean, I could do the work and go edit it back in if you'd like to.
But you also used to do it on your phone where you just did this and then you put it on
I know, but now that's silly. Now that seems silly.
Fair enough. I think he was fine. It was that sort of he talks and he's loud and mad. He's not a big yeller, but he's loud enough where it's like, all right, calm down, buddy.
All right, let's listen to this.
Everybody's been asking me, Big John Studd, why did you build your weight up to 390 pounds of solid muscle? Well, there's only one answer to that question. So I could stand and face the biggest bully in professional wrestling. And they say to me, Big John Studd, why do you go into the gym and you lift hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds for rep after rep after rep? Oh, it's simple. And so when I grab the biggest bully that the world of professional wrestling has ever seen, I can pick him up over my head and slam him into the ring.
This is of the era.
This is
corny.
This is take one. Like you get no other takes. Why not?
So when the big Andre the Giant grabs me,
And I feel like someone this whole time is going like, wrap it up, and then they're going, no, stretch it out, no, wrap it up,
Yeah.
wrap it up. Stretch.
I kind
That's
of
the worst example.
I blame that on the era and what they were. It's one of those like generic for kids to camera. Tell us why you're strong.
But that's also
There's
the
no
worst one.
psychology.
I think he's probably better than that,
Sure.
but he's not great.
Right.
But since we encountered that,
Sure.
I'll go 4.5.
Since we've encountered that, okay. Well, what about his wrestling?
Tough, because he's the big men of that time.
Right.
We're a different breed than what it is now.
Yes.
The standards of now are
Well,
like,
it's.
he sucks, he's boring.
I mean,
he's
it's kind
big,
of like
he's
I was
lumbering.
saying about like my expectation for a Duggan match is that like there's going to be a lot of lumbering, a lot of forearm smashing.
But guys that size were
Right.
more plentiful.
Yes.
And he's in the giant category, and he's got to sooner be the giant, where you can't get him off his feet.
Right.
He's the bad guy. There's a lot of limitations to what was presented, and he's not going to have these fucking banger after banger matches. Right. I'd say the same thing, where it's like, he's functional, he's good. He wasn't fucking things up. There's a match that will potentially be in our watch along at some point soon. He managed to wrestle Hulk Hogan in the rain. And
I know, I'm familiar with that one. Yeah.
so credit to him of just not fucking falling down everywhere
Or
all
just
the time.
quitting.
Yeah.
Right.
I go 6.5.
Oh, okay. That's higher than I thought you were going to go, but all right.
One of the watch alongs we watched was that tag match. It
Right.
was,
Was it him and Andre? Were they in a team that match? Or was it?
No, he was on the bad guy side. So I thought it was Andre and Tony Atlas versus King Kong Bundy and Big John Studd.
Got it. Right. That's a whole lot of beef in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well let's move on to Rumble winners. I mean, do we want to just skip Hogan entirely?
Sure.
Great. Ric Flair. Here we've got an all-time great. That, like, is it even worth doing this for?
Why not?
Great, fantastic. Flair. I mean, it's gonna be hard pressed for me not to just be like, yeah, 10, 10, and 10. Like the guy is responsible for modern day pro wrestling.
Well, do you want to be critical?
No,
do you
let's be critical. Let's do it.
Do you want to? Because if you say everything's perfect, like all Uber drivers are 5s, then what are we dealing with in this
What's
world?
the point of rating? Ric Flair. Look,
some of those haircuts aren't great.
But they're great for when they were. They're not great now.
Not all of them.
No,
there's a couple of bad. Try Ric Flair bad haircut. Let's see what happens.
Okay, this is what comes up when you Google Ric Flair bad haircut. This little bowl cut. You're not wrong about this one. This one does look like a Midwestern mom from the 80s.
I feel like that's fake, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that was ever a real one. The spiky hair, not great.
But that was what everybody looked like in the year 2001.
But that was, I think they cut his hair for a thing, and then he was pissed off about it, and then they went spiky. That I'm not a fan of that hairdo, just at all.
Again, though, it's
some
like
of those
the era. It's the 90s of it all.
Yeah, but I still think they look bad.
I think they look great for a wrestler who's not supposed to be like a normal person walking around.
That one's a solid one. That one is of the era. I'll give that of the era. That's fine. That's. I
mean, it's like that's great.
Right, the evolution.
I'm gonna get rid of bad haircut as the search term.
The evolution time of that hair. I think that's
also
one of the best looks.
It should be stated that like we're dealing with legends who've had decades spanning careers.
Yeah, and sometimes
And-
you got some bad looks in there.
But like we're rating them on like their entire career.
yeah.
Does that mean that like, oh yeah, those are some clunker fucking matches in there because he was old? Is that going to tank his rating? It's like, no, we're going to rate him when he's at his best.
No, because he's still going. He didn't stop. There's his last match.
And this is a Yahoo article that says Ric Flair actually had a heart attack in his last match. Is what the headline is to that. Okay. All right. Well, in any case, let's get
the
to
robes are exceptional. They kept getting better and better.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think he took what he had in his look and he made it perfect for pro wrestling. Maybe if you strip away all of the other stuff, his rating is a little bit lower. He looks a little bit more everyman. But like
not in his older years. He's a rubber band.
Sure.
When you look at like Ric Flair chops old man, that it's just like rubber, like moving.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think though that like here's a guy, despite the fact that isn't he just Gorgeous George and it's just a ripoff of Gorgeous George, but at the same time it's like here's a guy who like a lot of people tried to be and look like.
I think Buddy Rogers.
Sorry.
The Nature Boy.
Gotcha. I do feel like despite where it might have come from when we're talking about the eras of wrestling and whatnot, like he defined a lot of what would come from that.
Well, because the TV boom, and all that. But I'm being critical here because I think overall, a lot of the time, Ric Flair's presentational body isn't amazing.
No,
there's a run of the late 70s and early 80s where it's like he's really in shape, really looking strong, and put together well, but it doesn't last and maintain.
Right.
And then he's still in very good shape and clearly has cardio like a motherfucker.
Right.
But with the criticalness of it, it's like overall, he's not always the best looking guy.
Right.
Presentationally, he invested in himself like nobody's business.
Sure.
I mean, too much so where he's constantly owed money, but he put it in the clothes, put it in the watches, the shoes, all that stuff. So I'd say overall, look, I go 9.
I was going to be more critical. Okay. I was going to go 8.5.
Okay.
Because I was trying to think of the checkpoints, like, but you want to go 9?
I can go either way.
Yeah, I think we're going to go 8.5. Because I think you did convince me about I forgot that, like, there were times where the lifestyle affected his appearance negatively, even though one could argue that the lifestyle is part of appearance. But
But in comparison to someone who we're not rating in this, Hogan's body maintained.
Right. Yeah. That dude was, the Venice Beach bod, like forever.
Yeah. It's now it's like, oh, there's some flabby arms now. Like it finally caught up. But for the longest time you go, God, looks the fucking same, if not better.
Yeah. Honestly, he did. Like the older, I do feel like he never looked better than when he was at NWO. And it's like, he'd already been wrestling for 20 years at that point.
Yeah. So that's the criticism of Flair there.
Promo. I mean, come on.
This is hard to
knock
down.
What's bad about it?
The only times you can go is say like in more recent years, or you can go,
or I could say,
what the fuck is happening?
There
like,
are
what is
times
he talking about.
Yeah, there are times maybe where the performer and myself feels like if I were to take what you did as our rough draft and we were to write it, we would pull it back a little bit. There are times where he like found the moment and then trampled on the moment because he went one step too far. He didn't know where his out was.
Yeah, there's a time in TNA where him and Foley are getting into it, and he doesn't have a back and forth because he's so into the moment.
Right.
He's so Flair, and you're going like, look, you shut up. Yeah. And Foley's going like, okay, here's what I gotta say.
Right.
No.
And that should be the end.
And Foley's like, okay,
my part now.
Rick, like, I'm escalating this. Like, yeah, I tell you another thing. You jumping off the roofs. And he's like,
yeah, he seems like a bad improv partner.
Yes, in his later years,
sure, but
in
even
the earlier
even
years,
there,
I feel like he was more receptive and had the give and take a little bit better.
That was also the style where things felt a lot more realistic, so we didn't need the polished. And that's where we're going out on. Like we got to this point we wrote to our climax, and now we need to see what happens next. And the only way to do that is by stopping what we're doing and then waiting and for the match or whatever. Whereas of that era, it was always kind of people like adding one more thing than they should, and like, we got 3 more seconds, and also you're fat. Like, you know,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would probably say 9, if not 9.5. Like,
I was thinking 9.5 or 10.
Yeah.
This is really hard to.
I
Like
know,
I said, these are small moments in a
right.
and
But
a
that's what
long
I'm
story
trying to be
career of-
critical of like,
but these are blips.
yes, absolute blips.
For the
Do you wanna know what I'm-
all the majority of it, he has talked up, made stars of him and others, and sold a lifestyle, made many a catchphrase well known.
Sure.
Like it's all ingrained. You know his style. Woo is obviously huge.
Sure.
Woo Wings is even bigger. He is one of the best
Right.
that we've in our lifetime that we've seen,
Right.
and just continues to be, even if he's fucking weird and old.
Yeah.
It's still he's one of the best talkers.
Wrestling.
It's hard.
It's
to
kind of
deny.
the same. I think like it's kind of on par. It's almost the same argument with the talking, where like the blips of it not being good or of a match being, you know, like they're, when you look at the grand scheme of the ocean that is his work, they are just droplets of that ocean.
Yes.
And
Because it's which divorce was he going through that time?
sure, of course.
Like a personal problem,
Right.
or the opponent
Right.
couldn't go with him in the way that inspires him with a Steamboat,
Right.
or Sting, or countless other people.
Sure.
That it's like, yeah, it was okay. Ric Flair's okay. People would kill
right.
for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm more than willing to give him a perfect score as a wrestler.
Yeah, I probably would too. This gets into that tricky business of guys like a Bret Hart who can pick apart the minutia
Totally.
from the wrestler's point of view,
Totally.
and go like, I don't like that you clasp in your elbow after an arm drag.
Right.
And you do that. Like, that takes away from shit that I'm just never going to
But-
know or see. And the arguments that they also have internally of, yeah, that dude just wrestles the same match. They can all have that argument for each and every single one of them.
Sure. This is how I see the high end scores here.
Yeah.
But just personally, the way that I'm looking at this and I'm justifying is, can I think of anybody who I would rate better at just wrestling than Ric Flair? And I can think of a lot of people that I would make equal to him, in my opinion, but I don't think I can think of anybody who I would think that is any better at doing the thing that he is. And that's why I go like, well, that has to be a 10 then. Like, that's the top of the scale.
It's tricky. I hadn't thought about it like that.
That's kind of, and that's why I feel like it was easier for me to give promo, because I can maybe think of a couple people off the top of my head that I would personally think like,
Personal preference.
there's some people that I think would be a little bit better would get a better score. So that why he can't be a 10 at that. He can be a 9.5. But I feel like when it comes to wrestling, I can't think of anybody who's like, yeah, that guy's a better wrestler than
because
Ric
he's
Flair.
flashier, but Bret Hart maybe is the other one.
Yes,
That's
same.
preference of, he's not as flashy, but
but he's just as good
technically
at wrestling
and
Yeah.
believability.
Yeah, 100%.
And Flair's going to put on that show for you. You know, the only other person I can think of maybe at this point in their career is Orton.
You're not wrong.
Would be one.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd put him up there as well.
Because Shawn, I have issues with.
I know Shawn. I think Shawn is one of the best also, but I
He
think
certainly is.
his
But
points come more from promo and look, and the wrestling is still incredibly there. And I think
Yes.
it's probably a 9 and a 9.5, you know,
yeah,
but
I take off points for breaking character.
100%. And also, yeah, we can get into that. But yeah.
But it's, boy, Flair is, I could go 9.5 or a 10 for wrestling. It's hard to deny it, but I think maybe if I gave out a 10 in wrestling,
Right.
it's probably Bret.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I guess my argument is that I don't think that, I mean, I like Bret better than Ric Flair, like a lot. I'd rather watch Bret matches than Ric Flair matches. But objectively, I don't think one is better than the other at being at the wrestling.
Yeah, it's really tough to tell.
So that's why I go 10.
I'll go with you.
That is, I don't really think I need to do the math on that one. That's practically a perfect score. Not entirely, but uh, let's see here. We can jump around a little bit.
Crisscross?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you who they are in order. And you just tell me whether or not you want it. The next one on the list.
You take initiative and you can skip some. It's fine.
There's some people that were probably. I was thinking, we should do one of these one day where it's just the all-time greats, and I'm realizing, a lot of them are Rumble winners. So now I feel like we're crossing or cross-contaminating. But
so that's why you can jump around because
I'm gonna jump around here. I want to go to we'll skip Brett. This is his scale. He's a 30. We all know that. But
not that hair.
I know. I'm joking.
Not that hair.
He did look like a thumb for quite a while. But he was my sister's favorite. She was upset, like crush-wise. She thought he was the sexiest man, and I'm like, him? I like him, but
I didn't understand when that shit was happening with Cody Rhodes. That if you're watching
the
that
Dash and Cody Rhodes, I got it.
And it was like all the ladies backstage think he's the hottest guy, and I'm like, fucking duck mouth? What? Are you serious?
So we're not going to go with Brett, but we are going to go with the co-winner of 94, Lex Luger.
Okay.
I mean,
we got look first.
That dude was made for pro wrestling. Like, that guy's got the look.
And that hair, his hair, with the exception of end of WCW, where it just kind of looks like the Seinfeld episode where there's no more water pressure,
right?
In the showers,
he doesn't have volume. He stopped using his volumizing conditioner.
It's all flat,
right?
That's a mild knock to the glorious fucking mullets that he had.
Yeah.
That just worked on him.
Yeah.
Especially the WCW NWA times. There's your WWF one.
That's
so
the narcissist, right?
That's your 90s, that's the mullet of the era, and everybody's striving to have that. Even when it went short, it was cool, but if you end up finding some WCW or NWA early boy, because that's when he was at his most yoked.
God.
Even before this is what I'm talking. That's the era. But that's a fucking baby face.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only is he like a physique, but he's just like, I mean, like he's, even though like the older age and all the issues and whatnot and health stuff.
Oh
like
my God, you're gonna grade him on that. No, that's so fucked up.
I was gonna just say, like, he's cute. Like, he's like a good looking guy. Like
he's that guy that the girls go,
right. He is like,
I wish he asked me to
proper baby face by like the carny definition of the term.
Young athlete, the good looking kid, the guy who can run the fastest in the schoolyard. Yeah. Like he's a good looking dude.
And I mean, his forehead is enormous. I don't think I've ever clocked how giant his forehead is, but listen.
That's why when he had the little feathery part of the mullet in front, it was all good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when it comes to like the look of a pro wrestler, it's tough to be like, what does a pro wrestler look like? That's not that.
Rarely a flashy outfit. You had some America stuff thrown in the mix.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I would go.
He would lose a point for this outfit. Yeah. I would say 9.5 personally, but
that's what I mean. There's no additional stuff of a Luger. Even when you get your NWO stuff, he's just wearing the t-shirt. He's rocking pants. Like,
do you know what?
He never had gear or anything that I think
is iconic.
Like the narcissist robe is neat and all, but there was nothing additionally. It was the look and the face and the hair.
And I would, yes, I actually,
but if you're going the full,
I agree with you though, because I would argue that the fact that when we pulled him up, you had to go, no, but find something that actually kind of means that despite his physical appearance, his wrestling look did leave something to be desired, because there's no one definitive, when you think of Lex Luger, we all imagine the same thing, right? And I think that actually is detrimental to that score a little bit.
And the later WCW time was like, there wasn't much of a look there.
So
8.5 or a 9.
Yeah,
I think 9 worked just fine.
I think that's a 9 for sure. Maslam in the chat says 10, but then he says, "Okay, Scott makes good points as why a 10 is too much." So we've convinced.
It's I think that is something when you put it on the spot like this and you're thinking about these people and the affection that goes along with them,
right?
You immediately want to start tossing down some 10s.
Totally.
You're like, oh, they're the fucking best. Like, how can I not give them a 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on.
Now, what about What about his promo? Because I never really thought of Lex as a big promo guy.
He's okay at times. I think early NWA times when he's wrangled a little bit more, certainly yells a lot. He connected with the crowd more as got along through the years. It was certainly still yelly, but not.
Well, it was also because he was like, especially I'm most familiar with the WWF era where they were just trying to make him Hulk, and like he was just doing a less cartoonish version of what Hulk Hogan was doing. And it made it seem even more corny because Hulk was corny, but at least he was a big cartoon being corny.
He was disconnected from that.
Yes,
and that's been well documented.
So disconnected from that. Yeah,
I'm not that guy. I'm not a man of the people.
No.
I'll do this. I like this job,
Right.
but being on the bus and going and chat with everybody all the time, like that's not who he was. And I think his promos were the range of like they were pretty good to. Okay, we'll skate by on it being Lex. So, I'd say like a 5.5.
Yeah,
for Lex promos.
I would agree on that. I wouldn't go too much lower because I don't really know that. I don't have justification either way, so I like that it's in the middle. But I would lean better than worse.
When I think 5 with these things, I go, yeah, they're functional and they didn't really fuck up a whole lot. That's not crazy good or crazy bad. And there's not a lot that you go, oh yeah, I remember a lot of Lex things. Didn't have catchphrases.
Right.
Wasn't something that caught on. That's part of what I put in the promo is if there's something that people you associate the body, so you go like, yeah, that's a high score.
And also just like when it comes to promos, the things I think of Luger that I think back on are moments, not words.
Yes.
I think of the faces and the reactions to things, or him coming out and Nitro, like little things where I'm like, it's not about what he said; it was about the way he was in that moment.
Even that on the fucking aircraft carrier and all the things with Yoko. It's
or the end of this Rumble with
look,
Brett, the two of them, and they're jaw jacking, but there's confusion. Yeah.
Yes, he was very good at telling the story.
Yes, sure.
Physically.
Yeah.
And
wrestling,
but it's like here's a microphone.
Right.
Well, let's not do that.
Wrestling. I think he was a perfectly serviceable wrestler, but I think he was unexceptional. I think
he was exceptional in his early days.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't give the whole catalog something big because in part it was guys like Flair and they knew how to work with him. Right. And it's, hey, these are your
limitations and your strengths.
These are weaknesses. Let's do these and hide these. And later, I'll give more praises first.
Sure.
His earlier matches, he's faster, he's younger, there's no injuries, he's at his strongest. They're great. There's a lot of really great matches, and sometimes he's a little green, but he's still just he had fucking fire.
Yeah. Well, he was incredibly athletic. Yeah.
And quick.
Yeah.
And that was
also
a mixed bag at the time. Like he didn't have all that
story
stuff.
They told about the metal forearm. That was great.
Then you put it in the video game.
Points of that. Yeah. Dink. Yeah. Why is he down?
She's just knocked out forever? Yeah, he's got a fucking metal forearm, dude.
That was my favorite.
Oh, God damn it.
As a kid, I love that so much. It's not illegal.
It's in his body.
It's in his body.
Yeah, that was fun shit. I like that too. But his matches, I think over the years just got progressively less interesting. Yeah. He had a thing that John Cena ended up doing in the very beginning as Prototype. He would just yell
during his match
for offense, for defense.
Right.
And it drove me fucking crazy. Like when I got back into it, everything was just, His later WCW matches are atrocious for that. Cause once you see it and hear it, you can't undo it.
Right.
If you don't notice it, you're fine. But then once it's there, a punch, him punching someone or getting punched.
Right.
What is happening? Why are you fucking yell like that, dude?
He hurt his hand. And then when he got punched, it would hurt his face. It's always in pain.
So it was just the beginning. It's up here and then it went like this. So 6.5, maybe.
I think that's fair. We gave Big John Studd a 6.5, and I think that there are some similarities there, despite two very different body types and styles. I do think that's fair.
Because Lex was also, I think what's fair to say is where there are certain people that care about wrestling matches and what would be really great or your style or how it's going to change. Lex was a guy that to me registered more as in the beginning, he worried about having the great matches and being the star.
Right.
And then later it's about maintaining the spot and maintaining the pay. And not that he doesn't care about the matches, but it was fine, right?
Yeah.
Like we were good.
Right.
We did what we were supposed to do. We're okay. He didn't have to steal a show. He didn't have to be the best. That wasn't important anymore.
Right.
So why would his style or anything change?
Right.
Or he evolved in movesets or yada yada.
Alrighty. So we kind of start hitting the like the Attitude Era and new gen, whatever they call that here, where we've got a lot of repeats, and these are the biggest names in wrestling: the Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austins. I actually want to pass on some of these big names because I think maybe one day we do sort of a Mount Rushmore Hitman rating system.
Mount
episode.
Rushmore stupid.
Sure, you know what I mean. Whatever. The greatest of all time Hitman rating system.
Goats.
Where we can really fight each other. So I want to skip a little bit beyond that. And come to a slightly more modern-ish era.
Okay.
Let's jump to listen, we're going to talk about it because this is what we do here. Let's jump to 2004. Remember who that was?
I do.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's talk Chris Benoit.
All right.
We're talking about the wrestler character. We're talking about his on-screen,
the Pegasus Kid,
who he is as a wrestler wrestling. Let's do it.
Okay.
Because I don't know when other time we're probably going to bring him. All these other names I'm seeing here, we're probably going to bring them up again in the future.
Uh-huh.
I don't know when we're going to have this opportunity to Hitman rating system.
The look for Chris Benoit, the body was usually pretty darn good. Sometimes like in process.
Right. Sure.
It's like he's building to the next level. So sometimes you go like, that doesn't look so great.
Right.
But, the hair often brutal.
Yeah. Rough.
Bad haircuts.
Rough.
Left and right on the guy.
But
he had some times with the mullet. It's like, there you go. You got some. And then like the slick back when it's a little too long and a little, just not great. And then there are times when he in WWE when he rocked the short hair like there, it's good. It was a solid look.
Yeah. It has sort of
together.
It has like a
Canadian businessman.
I really like the facial hair. I really like him with a mustache and a beard.
Yeah, the scruff.
Yeah, this to me seems
but not
like
beard. Like it's like 7 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not not much shorter than you have here.
I mean, I
okay.
Tried to mimic the look many times, but it was oftentimes.
But in any case, I
scruff.
like that he looks like a dock worker from Canada. Mm-hmm. Like he has an everyman look, but his body and body shape.
His face has an everyman look, and then his body you go, what the fuck?
But
dude?
in a way that like work together really well. I actually think he has a really great look. Like I think that he like. I understand the body is strange, but I think there was something about.
But there's a lot of looks of Benoit where you go, that's not good. That's not a good look. At the end, he finally put it all together.
Sure. Yeah.
For the rest of the career, no.
Yeah.
There's so many WCW looks. ECW, it's brutal.
Right.
It's.
I mean, the fact that like
those are all nice photos.
Fact at some point his neck was wider than his head.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you where are you placing him? I'm curious where they're in the same zone.
The body's way stronger than the rest of it. The missing tooth certainly added to the mystique later and the toughness.
Yeah.
But even though it was a dog that fucking jumped up and knocked it out of his head.
I need to know that.
Why not?
Meaning like as a wrestling, like
I thought you were like, don't tell us.
No. Meaning like
no, this has nothing.
Like
to
it
do
doesn't
with
matter that that's what did it for the sake of wrestling.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
6.5.
I was gonna go 7.5.
Yeah,
because but this might be my personal bias of I love big little guys. I really like. There's something about a guy who's not 6'6", but also looks like he might be from a distance. Like there's that, I don't know, that Dynamite Kid of it all, the weird little tiny legs and his giant shoulders. But I'm willing to go 7 if you said 6.5.
I
You struggle to go higher than 6.5? That's your limit?
Because
You know what? I'm gonna meet you there only because for very different reasons, we gave Duggan a 6.5. And Duggan is like a big, burly, like classic-y wrestler.
I mean,
But
there are times like this.
yeah.
There's a lot of that. And that's a nicer one of those.
All right. Okay.
Look, I'm showing him bad Benoit photos. A bad look Benoit photos, not like, look what he did.
Promo. This is probably his weakest spot.
It is for sure his weakest spot. He only at the end did he get in the realm of a Bret Hart. He's telling you like it is.
Right. Yeah. Just be a little bit honest and concise. We don't need more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
I loved watching him, but I certainly knew like, no, you're not good at that.
I think,
and his reactions where he would put his tongue in his cheek and cock his head back and forth. So he'd do this a lot.
I'm thinking a 4 or 5. I don't think I can go higher than 5.
I wouldn't go 5. I think I'd go 3.5.
Right, then should we meet in the middle at 4?
4.
That's kind of, Mass Lama in the chat very disagrees when it comes to promo. He says 7. Nothing spectacular, but seemed very intense when he talked. Yeah, but all wrestlers seem intense.
Yeah.
I feel like intense could be intense is a red herring of a good promo.
Benoit lacked believability so often. Because it's like, I'm going to tell you the words that I'm thinking.
Right.
But you don't actually believe him.
As Lama says, I'm easily impressed. That's why you listen to our program. All right, wrestling.
Yeah, boy, I didn't think about Benoit when we were giving out 10s.
I mean, like he's up there. I do think that there's something to be said about the fact that we never saw Benoit get old or evolve or enter that next era and wrestle people that were younger than him. He was always in there with somebody his age or older. And I do think that, like, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of, obviously there's a lot of Dynamite Kid there. There's a lot of inspiration from all the place he came. There's a lot of classic Stampede wrestling style in what he does, but he was also a little bit innovative. He wasn't unwilling to do the headbutt and to do like some of the, the more showboaty kind of moves that don't necessarily fit his
selling was exceptional.
Yeah. He was in a fight. He was always in a fight that way.
He changed. I've told you the story before, and I'll make it very succinct. He changed how people were in submission moves,
right?
In WWE, like it happened with Kane, was the first that I saw, when there'd be a simple leg lock, the guy would be down, and the big guy would be like and when someone did that to Benoit, then he's immediately like striking their back, and grabbing at their face, and you could see like what the fuck, dude,
right? Trying to get out of it.
Yeah, you grabbed my leg.
I'm trying to wiggle away.
Why would I just not fight for this?
Right.
The reality in the ring was up to 100% every time he was in there. He is one of the absolute best. I can see your point about not growing old and this and that, but all of it, he was a tape trader guy. He was, have you seen this dude Pegasus Kid? Did you see this? Did you see it? And early matches were something to be seen.
Yeah.
And then he only got better and better and better.
And when it comes to just like the technical prowess, like I think of him like a Bret Hart. And I just said Bret Hart is a 10. So it's tough for me to maybe a 9.5.
I go 9.5.
Just because maybe there is a level of like, we didn't get to see him reach the 10, because despite the fact that he had a couple big moments, we didn't get to see those matches that people are going to be talking about, like a lot of them. We saw a few, but
well, I saw a lot of them because I bought those tapes.
Sure.
So I'd go 9.5.
Okay.
Because he's a murderer.
Man, that promo really, really brought him down to a bad, like when it comes to the overall scores of the people that we've discussed today. There's people who I'm like, wow, we've rated people equal that I would not think, but hey, this is why the Hitman system is, I think, a nice, fair, and balanced thing, because it's like you need all three of these things to be truly successful.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, let's go back to our winners here. Let's we'll skip this guy. Alrighty. Let's go to.
It's funny when you don't name people, but you named Chris Benoit.
I mean,
No,
I'm skipping. We're skipping Cena. We're skipping.
It sounds
Taker.
like you're because they're bad
Oh,
in
no,
some way.
No,
It's like,
yeah.
ooh, let's skip this guy. Let's skip this guy.
No, because
Chris
I feel like
Benoit.
I feel like we're going to talk about them.
I know you also
Yeah.
didn't mention McMahon, so it's like, ooh, yeah,
McMahon, Triple
McMahon
H.
is bad.
I didn't talk about Stone Cold, Rock, Triple H, all those. Alrighty, let's do it. 2011, baby.
Mm.
Alberto Del Rio won
Okay.
the greatest Royal Rumble. Wait, was that the 40-man one? I don't remember.
No, it's not the greatest. It's just a Royal
The
Rumble
biggest.
that had 40.
Right. Got it.
The look wise, simplistically great.
Right.
As Del Rio.
And Del Rio
That
had
little fucking scarf thing was the cherry on top.
it
Like,
would
that
describe,
was solid.
but he's also like he's a good-looking guy, but not in the way a baby face is. He's a good-looking guy in that smarmy.
He does look like a rich guy.
Yes, he totally looks like a wealthy. Like he looks like he could like run us. Like he could be the CEO of a tech company. Not
He
nowadays,
looks like he would
but
be a dick to you. And just like he would
100%.
undermine you. He would
100%.
ignore you.
I mean, a great look, and I like the fact that he was big and strong, but he wasn't like
He wasn't overly built.
He wasn't, or wasn't the
It
build.
was proportioned.
Yeah, he wasn't. I guess overly cut is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
He didn't have like abs on abs on abs.
Not yoked. but
Not
cut.
yoked, but cut. Sure. I really think he's got a great look. I think it might be the best
The
thing
hair.
about him.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. Like his look is very, very strong.
Yeah.
And it didn't, he could change the color of the tights and the
Yeah.
boots and stuff, but it all went together very well. His hair, like you said, the body, all that, like,
I kind of put him up there at 9 or 10 even, because like we gave Lex a 9 and we said that there's nothing immediately that you grab onto. But when I think of Del Rio, I do have a strong image of his entire gear and his presentation.
I do. I think
And
it's
the scarf and whatnot.
I think it's very,
9.5.
very good, but I think it's 8
Oh, interesting.
because I think it is very strong, but a 10 is something
Sure, no.
bigger than
8
life and
point-
exceptional.
All right, meet me in the middle.
So that's
8.5?
why I say, like, with Luger,
Right.
you go, whoa,
That's true.
that's superstar. That's
That's true.
someone that makes you turn your head. And Del Rio, you go like, oh, look at that fucking guy. Oh, I I hate
You know
him.
what? You convinced me. See, I'm very
Malleable.
valuable. Promo. I never thought he was bad at promos. I think he was also at that era when WWE's promos were kind of just all bad and like real overproduced.
Yeah.
So he like, I don't know if we can blame him for that. I think he did okay. I didn't dislike, the Chihuahua bit and like stuff like that was fine. It was hated. Yeah.
overdone.
But
And
I think-
I agree with the era because I would have been harsher.
They also did bring in somebody to talk with him though.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do think
Ricardo
that's,
Rodriguez.
whether that was the language, because I mean, I don't remember him speaking poor English, but I know
No.
that it was tougher than
No, he spoke
Others,
fluent
yeah,
English.
yeah.
Like it was just he'd go back and forth.
Right.
And, quick story. So we saw him do a promo. I think it was Slammiversary. I don't think it was Bound for Glory for him and Lashley and all their fucking titles at the time.
Sure.
At GFW and yada yada. So it's in front of the monitor, like a standard.
right.
This is going to air on the night, but we're pre-taping it.
Sure.
And he's a champ or the champ and does a promo. The first take, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's really great. And seeing it being backstage is like, holy shit, that was amazing.
Right.
And Bruce Pritchard walks over. His gut makes it there first. And he goes, there's one thing we need to, what is this thing called? And I forget what it was. There's something involved in it at the
Sure.
time that there was particular
Like a gimmick
wording,
involved. Yeah.
particular wording of a title, a thing. And it's just like, are we calling it this or are we calling it that? We need to check on that. You said it this way. It was good. It was good. And it was the worst producing because I've seen very little actual wrestling
Yeah,
producing.
but it's still directing. It's still just directing an actor at the end of the day.
And he says, we're going to do it again. And just change this. This is good. Take number 2. And it's less. It's
Right.
it's
All the
down a
fire's
notch.
gone. Yep.
And he
Wasted
does
it.
it, and he's thinking about what it is that they're saying, the thing he's
And you
got to
can
bring up
see
later.
the cogs working.
And he goes through all the same beats again, and he does it, and it's like, yeah, that was okay. Boy, that first one was great. Pritchard
Interesting.
waddles over again. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with the other way. So do it one more time and do this, and it's a notch
Right.
down again.
He's losing steam each time.
And in no way does Pritchard go do that again.
Right.
Holy shit! Just be angrier.
Right.
Because that was fucking fire that you did it the first time.
Right.
So what airs is dead. What airs is flat. When he brought what was amazing, but produced terribly,
right,
and brought it all out of him. So I saw firsthand
how good he could be.
Interesting. And I can't give him that credit overall. I can give him like a half point or something.
Right.
And seeing that it's a guy that I don't particularly care for,
right,
in ring or as a person, but that he is capable of more than what we really saw.
Yeah, I could see that. And it's like I said, I think that I can recall not hating when he spoke, and I can recall being engaged in his storylines, despite the fact that I wasn't like a huge fan. But I liked it when he was a heel, and people were busting his balls.
Yeah,
like that's fun.
Being a face was like,
yeah, it didn't work for him. But I don't know. I'm thinking like 7.5, somewhere in that range.
I'd go 7.
Yeah,
I'd probably say 6.5, and then give that a little half point to the fully functional,
right,
and a little bit better than a lot.
Wrestling.
I'm harsher on this because that fucker doesn't take bumps.
He doesn't take bumps, and for all the crap that people give like Miz for like, oh yeah, his matches are all the exact same beats. Like Miz is incorporating, even though it doesn't look that way. Like he's picking things up. He's trying. Like
he's doing more than he should.
Del Rio literally wrestled the exact same match every Del Rio match I ever saw was exactly the same.
He's lazy and he was fucking violent. I remember hearing from Morrison that's like,
really,
he fucking kick you in the face. He just
really
that it was
he had outbursts and whatnot.
He's just also just stiff.
Oh,
like
stiff. Gotcha.
He wasn't able to pull something or do something. It's like he was maybe reckless would be the right term.
Yeah, that's fair.
It just didn't look like.
Yeah, I never cared for his matches.
Yeah.
I liked his matches when it was like he was a part of a team when they were doing stuff with, I liked him as
League of Nations.
Yeah, I like that. And but yeah, I was never fawning after any of his matches being like, God, that was really good at that spot.
5.5. 5.5.
That's fair. Because I think there were some, despite the fact that the storytelling wasn't always there was some capabilities, athletic capabilities. He always used to do the chuck kick or whatever that was called. And he definitely did things. And we gave Duggan a 5. I definitely think he was a better wrestler than Jim Duggan is.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
different eras. He's more athletic. And
I think 5.5 or 6, I would say, maybe 5.5, 5.5. All right. You want to see the final scores of the 6 people that we did? I think we have to wrap us up because I think you have a task you have to do. Let me just math this really quickly.
Math is gonna math, and we got a hotline call.
That's what we have to go do. So this would be. I can't math it. My brain just shut off on me. Do you ever have that issue? You ever have that where your brain just goes like, no, I know that you can do things, but not right now. You can't.
Yeah. That's why I'm single. We went through.
Oh my God.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Sacrilege.
Big John Studd.
Yes.
Woo. Zack Ryder. Sting. All the Woo Boys.
We didn't do Sting. We did Duggan, Studd, Flair, Lex, Benoit, and Del Rio were the 6 names, 6 Rumble winners that we covered here today. Who do you think got the best rating out of everybody?
Flair.
Yeah, obviously. 28 out of 30 we gave him.
That's
in the video game, I go, yeah, seems right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seems right. One of the greatest of all times. Arguably the greatest of all time, depending on who you're arguing with.
Who do you think he's always in the discussion no matter what?
Who do you think we gave the next batch down from?
Oh, so the second
highest who do you think is the second highest score?
I'm not remembering everybody, but I'm gonna say Lex.
Yep. Lex, we gave a 21 total out of 30.
When you work a lot with Flair, you're going to have the higher score.
I'm going to tell you right now, between 21 total.
You know what? Real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on to that thought.
Sure.
That's maybe another factor in a lot of this.
Which is
not to say adding a category, but who did they work with? Who did they learn with?
Of course.
On the way up doing stuff.
Right.
Alberto was doing like shoot fighting shit and all that, and then coming in and just throwing in the spot. Luger's working with Sting,
Yeah.
Flair, and fucking
Right.
Anderson, and all that. That's certainly and he's in the car, they're fucking traveling, talking. So
Takes two to tango.
mhm.
Yeah.
Score of, you're saying
21 for Lex.
okay.
And I was gonna say between
Break them all
Lex.
down again too. Do the this.
Oh, so Lex, of course, 9 look, 5.5 promo, 6.5 wrestling. But between Lex at 21 and the lowest score we gave today was an 18.5. There's only 2.5 points there.
Wow.
So all of the other people are all roughly the exact same score, which I will do it in order from top to bottom.
Okay.
The next up from there is 20 for Benoit, 6.5 look, 4 promo, 9.5 wrestling. His promo really, hindered that score a lot. So that's why he's third over Lex. Right behind him at 20.5 is Del Rio, because Del Rio's got a great look. We give him 8 look. We give him a 7 promo, 5.5 wrestling. So despite the fact that he's 4 points lower in wrestling than Benoit is, he's just above him in promo and in look, which is fair.
Yeah, because
if you ask me like score this wrestler versus this wrestler out of the 1 to 100 thing, I would just be like, oh, Benoit 85 and Del Rio 43, but that's not the Hitman system. Yeah, the Hitman system. I do think it's actually
something
fair.
marketable still with these people. Where you go like, well, yeah, I don't like those things, but fucking, we can showcase that look.
And I think we found that like, generally speaking, most people who make it to the big leagues, they're around a 20. Like that's just kind of what it always sort of levels out to. So
I could certainly be more harsh.
Next,
11
below Del Rio, with 19.5 is Duggan, who gave 6.5 look, 8 promo, 5 wrestling. And then at the bottom of today's bar was Big John Studd, who we gave a 7.5 to look, 4.5 to promo, another guy who's promo tanked him, and a 6.5 to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we were unfair to any of these people. I don't think that we were too fair to any of these people.
Del Rio, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, because I think that like you told the captivating story about how good his promo was.
How it
could have
be.
been true.
I maybe would knock down a point on look now.
Really? Knowing,
but no, it's in lead, so we can't.
It is in lead, but I also think that like. So right below him, if we're looking at what we've graded else today, the next below him on look was Big John Studd at 7.5. We give Del Rio an 8. I do think you're probably right. The two of those guys both look equally good as wrestlers for sure.
Yeah. When you get that category, when
20,
you're going
so
really
maybe
high,
he's
and
tied.
it's like, wait, who are 10s? You have to scale it in your head.
It always has. I do think maybe him and Benoit were actually both 20s if we were, but like you said, it's written in lead. We can't change it.
Can't do anything about that.
Well, we only got to 6 Rumble winners. Should we just continue this next week? Skip news altogether?
Just forever.
And just do the rest
forever.
Do the rest of the non-goats? Because it's probably only 6 more people.
You didn't even do one lady.
Well, we didn't do a lady. No, we didn't do any. I was looking at the Wikipedia. Yeah. So next week we do the Rumble winner ladies.
I don't know. I can't say that because then we have to come up with 2 things like this. You realize right? Can't do that news afterwards.
We'll do them. We'll just do more of this then. This is just a show from now on.
My God.
Alrighty. Thanks for joining us. Those who did join us live. Alex Pierce, current PWP champ, will defend that title next week here on the program against a whole new landscape of challengers. If you'd like to be one of them, well, you got to become a patron over at patreon.com/PW Palskis. That is how you enter, as well as get access to the live stream and to all and everything that our Patreon has to offer. We got to go take a hotline call, Scott Narver. And so for now, we will say goodbye to the live stream. Say goodbye, Scott.
Bye.
747-666-5606. That's the number to the Pro Wrestling Palskis hotline. Scott Narver, you want to see what the hotline has in store for us today?
Sure do.
Hey guys, this is Spits of Retribution. At least it used to be. I'm not sure who I am right now. But this is probably a pretty lukewarm take most people have, but we gotta stop jumping off the cages. It's lost its spectacularness in wrestling. Back in 2000, it was crazy. See Jeff Hardy jump off a cage through somebody on a table. you see Rikishi. Okay, Rikishi jumping off the cage will always be impressive. But for the most part, it's just, I've seen it so much, most people have seen it so much that it's lost a lot of its appeal. Adam Copeland had to sit out for a couple of months because he jumped off the cage. I don't even think it made news. Bronson Reed, Jimmy Uso out because they jumped off cages. I don't think anybody was like, oh wow, the cage jump. Io Sky jumping off a cage still gets some notice because she always wears a trash can while she's doing it. But even then, that's like 3 years in a row we've seen that spot. So I don't know, I think for everybody, the sake of our wrestlers, man, like, give it a few years. Give it 5 years before anybody jumps off a cage again. And when it happens, it will be wow. But until then, yeah, it's just same old, same old. And that's terrible. It shouldn't be same old, same old. But we've seen it so often, we're desensitized to it. At least I am. Y'all might not be. So, anyway, have a good day, y'all. Bye.
Mass Llama talking about people jumping off of cages.
He says it's a lukewarm point.
He said, yeah.
It gets me to a boiling point. I agree.
Boiling point? Was that an NXT pay-per-view?
Yeah, it sure is. It's features some TNA people.
I completely agree. Specifically that it seems to be leading to more and more injuries.
It is.
And so
of 4 that he mentioned,
right,
of the most recent, Cope, it's Cope, buddy.
Deal with it.
Cope broke his leg or ankle, as did Bronson Reed, broke foot or ankle or something. Like, they both got hurt.
Yep.
Long term enough to be like, well, this changes.
Like, out of action.
This is problematic. And for Bronson, I don't know if that's Mania season that he's out.
Right.
That's always major and huge. And then Io is doing it the fucking dumbest way possible, that she's lucky each time she doesn't get hurt. And goes, well, I'll just put this trash can on my head and jump blindly on top of that and then hope that everyone below.
I'd argue that hers is the safest one, though.
No,
because
how dumb.
Because one, she's not going to break an arm because she's literally coffin dropping, right? And 2, like, the brunt of all of that impact is really going to be on the many people catching
that
her.
She can injure.
Yeah, I get it. I'm talking wrong. I'm not defending hers. I'm just saying.
And also, if none of them catch
risk,
her, or if her foot drops a little low, or she slips, like,
no, it's all quite much. And it also does feel, to his point, it's not like when I watch it, I no longer go like, whoa, like, I don't have that moment.
It's hard because I think what's important about it is something has to be so massive at stake. Something has to be that they hate each other so much that they're deciding, I'm going up to the top rope.
Right.
No, fuck that. No, that's not enough. I'm going to go up to the top of the cage.
Right.
And if it's a cage where they can leave and win,
right,
and they're going, that's what the Hardy one was. That's what Matt Hardy.
Right. Turning around.
Is like, you know what? No, I fucking hate this guy so much. I'm going to jump on edge with my leg and my ass, and I'm going to take him out.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm doing. Match be damned. Yeah. And that connection with the audience of like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, you fucking should do it. And the impulse that we're all on board and like, yeah, do it. Not just the moment of, hey, wouldn't this be crazy?
Right.
Because that's where it's meaningless. That if everyone's just doing it for the sake of, well, it's a cage match, so I better jump from the top of it because that'll be spectacular. And it'll be great for Twitter.
And that is an instance where Io's is the worst of the bunch because, like you said, 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And it's not, the War Games match has just become like, this is who's on the roster right now, for the women's at least. And it doesn't feel like these women actually, it's usually like between 2 people. It's like these people who actually have, that's the person who should be going to the top. Yeah. Not the 4 people you recruited just because we needed 5 to do this match or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think the last time that I remember being like legitimately like, okay, that was fucking crazy. It might've been like Undisputed Era where there was a table spot involved as well. Okay. It wasn't just, and I do remember thinking it might've been an air raid crash from the top. It was something kind of insane.
I don't know what an air raid crash is.
Air raid crash is what Sheamus does it. And he calls it is he called white noise? Maybe.
Oh, okay.
It's like where they're like it's
scooped up and under the arm.
Yes, exactly.
And
yes.
he's doing he's falling down. It's
Yes.
almost like a sidewalk slam in a
Exactly.
way.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's
So that's
a lot of variables.
I think it was like, and I might be misremembering this because believe it or not, that happens occasionally.
They're tucking their head.
Yes, they're
Is
holding
part of it.
Head under the arms, like you're wearing them as a backpack, and
Okay.
they're facing you, right? And from the top through, like and I might be misremembering it, but I think that's what it was. And I think I recall Adam Cole being involved or O'Reilly, one of those people. But I do recall that feeling impactful and being like, yeah, where do you go from there?
Mm-hmm.
And I do think it ended the match, which that's the other thing. These aren't ending the matches.
That'd be nice.
The problem isn't just that they're doing it, is that they're doing it, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
I think Edge's did.
Right. But that was because he was hurt and he couldn't continue.
Yeah. Oh, that
usually it's
Can we call it?
because the person you did it to can't wrestle anymore, not you.
not you. Yeah. Like, oh fuck.
But no, I agree, man. I think what you're describing is like what we talk about with AEW regular matches all the time, which I felt this way about the fucking
I mean,
Penta's
WWE's got it in certain ways too with the stuff.
Sure, but with Penta debut against Chad Gable at Raw, where I thought like that, the Canadian Destroyer, that looked like it needed to end the match.
Mexican Destroyer.
Sorry, he was destroying Mexico, not Canada, right?
On an American.
The way I get that, maybe like, oh, it's crazy that he kicked out, and so like you do that, and then you have to do one more move. That makes sense. Where it's like it's not the move that ends the match, but it's the move before the move that ends the match that allows you to finish him.
Yeah.
But then they still went on for like another 10 minutes after that, and Gable was kind of fine, sure, but it was still a while. I feel
it was just a little bit,
but I still felt like it was the match.
That's
the move
the
was
most
so good.
impressive thing.
Yes,
chances are you don't know beforehand, but that's going to be the biggest. Whoa,
right, totally. The way that Gable sold it, like he just like I don't know how you do that with your body.
That was Rob Van Dam-ish.
It really, I don't know how you lock up your body to be physically like a plank board.
I don't know how you flip
bend
with one's body.
That's a good point.
I don't understand any of it.
But
it's
there's some. It's too much. We're getting into the era of everything is a little bit too much,
and it's tricky because you're trying to stand out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different shows and content, wrestlers, and you got to fill it up or try and steal the show. But it's tough. Hardy was talking about this stuff recently when he was saying in an interview with Chris Van Vliet and talking about it's tricky.
Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Okay.
When you're in your 20s. You're athletic and you're quick and you can do everything. So you want to do everything. And then people tell you like, hey, you should slow down, do that. Like, no. You should think about character. You should think about why you're doing this. And you go, no. And then you get hurt. And that's when you think about it. You go, oh, because what does that mean now? What does that relate to the story that I'm hurt or that I did those things to get hurt?
Right.
And he says, you slow down and then you can think about it. When you're in it, you can't do it. You're just always trying to think of how do I stand out.
Your foot's on the
stuff.
gas, yeah.
So that's certainly tricky. And it's not like any of these places lack leadership or coaches to go, hey, I can slow down. Or I just wish more people said no. Or let's think of something else.
Yeah, I guess the question is
who in that War Games there was two.
Yeah,
the two ladies that jumped at the same time, and then Bronson.
And then a male.
Like that's three of those spots in one show.
Yeah.
To not go, no, we're not fucking doing that. Like with Bronson, you're going to go up there and something's going to happen. And then
misdirection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else but three. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
I completely agree.
3 talent members. Cause what were the odds? Like 1 out of 3 got hurt.
Yeah. And to Maslama's point, they weren't even the spots that you're remembering of those matches, if you're remembering any of the spots. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's not even the moment where, like, I can think of big giant spots. I can think of Hardy and MSG on the big 15-foot ladder for the very first time.
Yeah.
And not that he did get injured, but if he got injured, it'd be like, yeah, he fucking did that shit.
Yeah.
He got injured. I mean, Mick Foley at the top of the, you know what I mean? Like, I know, even though we've learned, it's been talked about ad nauseum that going through the cage was worse than going off of it, or the hell of the cell rather.
Yeah.
Despite that, both things hurt him. He got injured in both things, and both things are like the most important moments of the match that you think about all the time.
Yeah, is someone actually taking a break after
Right.
this? Can we write them off the TV?
Right,
For a
100%.
purpose?
And it did something for both participants career-wise, whether or not some of it was bad humanity-wise.
So here's another point to this to add on top of what you're saying. We keep saying that there were 3 people at the latest War Games: Bronson Reed, Io Sky. I don't remember who the other person was that did it.
No, I don't remember.
But I know there was another person that did. There was another female, because they were both
Right.
the far ends of the top of the cages,
Right.
and they
Dakota? No.
see that's the other
Yeah.
problem
No, you're right.
is you can't do 3 and go, I remember each and every one of them, and they were as impactful as the other ones. So
Right.
if one's going, I'm going to put a trash can on me, well, that one's more impressive,
Right.
because it's stupider
Right.
than the other one
Also-
who's not doing it.
Also, that has gotten to the point where it's like we see her grab the trash can outside. She's got a little rope that she carries it
Yeah,
with, and it's like, okay, we're getting to this. Like, we get it now. Especially in a War Games where like that's how you have to start your match.
And
because
someone
you
already
can't-
started with a toilet seat, and that
Yeah. Oh gosh, right. Yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit much. And here's the thing is I don't think that the moves themselves are inherently bad or unexciting, but he's right. We are desensitized
yes,
to the point where it's now not only is it high risk, but it's low reward because we don't
Right.
really care.
when we resensitized to Hell in a Cell,
Right.
they undid what they had done. They made it a point to,
Right.
like Triple H at the press conferences long ago, saying, I'm trying not to make I'm paraphrasing a lot, the stipulation pay-per-view specific.
Yes.
Hell in the Cell will come about when we need a Hell in the Cell.
Yeah. Like it should end a feud. We shouldn't cram a feud into it.
And we got Drew and Punk
Perfect.
with a Hell in the Cell that was unexpected. You know, you could speculate, but it wasn't Hell in the Cell's coming up in October,
Right.
and that's when we have to do it. It was, okay, this is going to be huge.
Right.
They're going to do something. They're going to really ground it again. And they did.
Yeah.
And then we get the other stuff. It's like, all right, well, yeah, it was tall structure in War Games. All right, with 3 people could jump. Who wants to do it?
Right,
I saw you 3 first. Okay, you
Right.
guys could go. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. At
Work
some
smarter,
point,
not harder.
and it's something to think about too. I'm trying to rack my brains of like spots in recent years that I remember, like the high spots.
Okay.
None of them are cells, or it's none of them jumping off of things that aren't the ring. They're all like Ricochet and Jake Paul, or Jake, whichever one is Logan Paul,
Yeah.
off the double springboard at the Rumble, whatever that was. Like
Right.
these are things. They're just people that are just doing high risk things without the extra parts of the ring. Like this is just the most innovative things I've seen recently are like not using the structures. They're still very much high risk, but they're a different type of move, or over the turnbuckle where we've seen a few times nowadays from in the ring to the outside of the ring. Like those are things that I'm like, I'm remembering more of those than I am of like the generic. Oh, he's really high up there.
Yeah.
Or she's really high up there. It's like, yeah, that doesn't really mean as much anymore.
Yeah. I can certainly understand for the newer fan, if that's the first time you've seen something, it's going to be the coolest shit ever.
Right.
And that's going to be the one you remember rather than, because Lama's talking about
Right.
Hardy's and Rikishi, and
Yeah.
those were impactful because that's when I started watching again.
Totally.
So beyond that, it's story related for me.
Yeah, 100%.
That otherwise, yeah, I can turn on I can flip the channel and I'm seeing this happen in every promotion where
Right.
someone's doing something crazy stupid.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
point.
there you have it.
Good point, Llama.
Good point. All 3 of us are old men yelling at clouds, and I respect that, and there's nothing that I'd like more. That'll do it for the program this week. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. All the places and all the things. Scott and Arver, we have to thank our current Patreon Palskis.
And we will now. Of course, it's wonderful, monumental help for all those who contribute to the show, past, present, but dang it, this is the current Palskis. And
That's present. You said past, present, but this is the current.
Oh, a past. Well, you're a past present. And if you're a future present, that's wonderful. But they're present
Gotcha.
that gives us presents.
Is
With
that
our
the
presence
then?
here.
Is that the then, the now, or the forever?
It's the Stephanie McMahon of it all.
Together.
It just shows up and
Okay.
angrily claps for themselves on
Great.
camera.
Respect.
Alex Pierce, our PWP champ, AJ0314, Andrea Beeler, Gilbert Short, Mass Llama, Mexican Stallion, Michael Beltran, Mike Lucas, Strong Style, Suicide, Tim Redbeard, Tom Hader, and Tony Griggs. Thank you all for being Patreon Palskis.
That'll do it for the program. Hey, check out the shop over at pwpalskis.com. Snag yourself some sweet PWP merchandise. We got hats, we got hoodies, we've got phone cases with brand new iPhone and Samsung models available. We got some nice mugs, lots of fun merch. Merch is fun. You get a little something, you enjoy it. It helps the program.
You get to dirty it up.
You get to show your friends and your frenemies.
Mhm.
And you just get to be generally cooler than those people. And once again, do us a favor, leave us a rating or review over on Apple Podcasts if you haven't done that in a while or you never have. Let's get some new reviews going in 2025. What do you say?
Right.
Thanks again for joining us. It's always a blast hanging out with you, the Pro Wrestling Palskis.
It's Dragon Wagon.